So we're going to cover something really cool today. Okay, and I'm going to make sure that this is recorded. Okay, and goes out to everybody. So what we're going to work on today is speeding up the timeline, okay, that somebody is in your pipeline for. Okay, so essentially what that comes down to is really, really strong winning follow-up. Okay, it's one of the number one questions I get asked about is not how to call an expired, okay, or how to go prospect an open house. It's how do I follow up with people? Okay, what are talking points? What are sound bites? Do you have recorded calls? Okay, typically where a lot of people don't have scripting because it's so different. Okay, every call can be so different. It's hard to just script it. Like how do I call someone in my nurture? What do those calls look like? Okay, so today, instead of going over like scripting, okay, we're going to go over the framework of it because that way you can just do it on anybody. Okay, you can call your not yets, you can call your nurtures, and the goal is that you take, okay, this really, really strong follow-up. Okay, Rudy, I'll give him a big shout out. He just came out of our fam camp. I gave him this, okay, for somebody that no-showed on an appointment. Okay, and he called me today and he goes, man, all I did was say one of the intros, ask some of the questions that were there. They opened up all this stuff, and he goes, now I have a buyer discovery booked. Okay, it becomes very simple, but we just overcomplicate it. And especially because we're like, we need to show up with all this value to this follow-up call. What's the reason for my call? I see that in even like the Justin times. People are posting, they're like, but what value do I follow up with? Because the value to begin with is the fact that we're even following up. You know how many people actually consistently follow up? Almost none. People follow up like once, 1 month, then they wait 2 months, they follow up again, then they get really consistent for a week, and then they stop again, okay, and they disappear. I win deals just because the value I bring is my follow-up. Is that I've been so consistent with somebody for 6 months that their brain knows that I'm not stopping. It just knows it. Okay, so consistency is absolute key, okay, with this. But we're gonna go over the exact talking tracks, okay, the exact questions, and I'm going to give you the actual exact framework layout, okay, that I use for every single follow-up call. Okay, so pen and paper, okay, or a phone, something that you can do to take notes. Okay, I'll give you a second. Okay. First thing that you're going to write down, okay, we're going to write down the actual framework for this call, because that way all you need is this framework. Okay, and you can follow up with any single person in your pipeline, okay, on a really high level. So the first thing we're going to write down, okay, you're going to write down one where it's talking track. Okay, and we're going to go into this in a second. So don't worry if you know what it is, but talking track. Okay, the way I personally write is now with a little arrow, okay, pointing over to the right, so it's like a step by step, but an arrow now pointing to the right. Okay, you're going to put magic questions. So we have talking track, arrow, magic questions. We're going to do another arrow. And we're going to write align/compliment. We have talking track, magic questions, align/compliment. And then your very last one, your last arrow is commitment. So you can call any single person in your pipeline right now. You're nurturing, you're not yet, okay, your active clients, someone who has not given you that, hey, Sarah, yes, you are my agent, okay, and signed an agreement with you. I'd call them. Okay, I'd use one of the talking tracks. Hey, Holly, I saw this home, and it really just made me think of you, ... Okay, they give me some sort of response. I instantly move into my magic questions. Hey, Holly, would it help if? Just out of curiosity. Okay, what's your experience? What's your understanding of? Align. Okay, align and compliment. Holly, I just wanted to let you know that up to this point, over the last 6 months, you have done such a good job prepping yourself. getting ready to purchase a home. Hey, most of the times buyers that I talk to that are in this stage of the process, they're not as savvy as you are. So I just want you to give yourself a pat on the back. This is going to be a really smooth process for you and I. Okay, compliment and align. Hey, Ollie, most of my buyers that are in your situation are telling me the same thing. I want to give you props, though, for setting yourself up properly all the way to this point. Some sort of align and compliment. And then commitment. What I think we should do from here, Holly, is meet for 15 minutes. ... Okay, and we're going to move further into it. So the goal of this, okay, is that we're calling our buyers. And since we have an actual framework we're following, we're not just calling them and saying, hey, I've been sending you over some homes. Have you been getting those? Hey, Steve, I've been sending some homes over the last, 3 months. Have you been seeing those come up to your email? Hey, Holly, are you still looking to buy a house? Hey, Star, you told me a few months ago that, you were just getting ready to buy. Is that still the plan? Okay, now we can come in with an actual framework and feel really strong about what we're saying. Okay, and that's going to be the first thing we're covering today is that first part of the process is talking tracks. Okay, first off, what is it? Okay, and a talking track is essentially your reason that you can be calling somebody. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here, get a copy of this, but I want you to write a few of these down so we can simplify down. Because remember, those are our two big words for this month: simplify and intentional. So the first one we're going to write down, okay, is per our last conversation. This is your easiest one. Hey, Holly, per our last conversation, when you told me that you guys were going to put a pause on things for the next few months. ... Okay, we'll move on. We'll complete these in role play. Okay, but per our last conversation, last we spoke, you said, I use this one all the time. It's the easiest. This is like underhand. I literally will just go through your guys' list, especially when you guys tag me in like open house. Okay, leads to call them or something like that. I'll go, hey, Ina, this is Zach. Last we spoke, you said that you were just getting ready to buy a home, or start to look at the process over the next 3, maybe 6 months. I wanted to have a quick chat with you and make sure that we were still on pace for that. Hey, Holly, last we spoke, you mentioned that space was really important to you, in purchasing a new home. So I've been keeping my eye on 5-bedroom, larger square footage homes over in Menifee. Have you been able to see anything that catches your eye? Okay, but it's these easy talking. Okay, connecting with you as promised. Okay, you can simplify this one down when you write it down and just put it as promised. I use this one a lot. Hey, Star, as promised, it's been about 30 days, so I'm giving you a quick call so we can re-pick up the conversation about your home purchase. Hey, Holly, as promised, it's been about 90 days. So I wanted to give you a quick call and see if anything has changed in your timeline or we're still on track to sell beginning of this year or beginning of next year. Hey, Holly, as promised, I told you I'd reach out when the rates adjusted. We just saw a little bit of an adjustment here. Where buying a home actually became a little bit cheaper. Did you see that? Okay, but that as promised becomes really easy. Okay, I thought of you is gonna be the next one you write down. Once again, we're simplifying this list down, you guys. So far we've written down per our last conversation. Last we spoke, you said, as promised, and I thought of you. Hey, Holly, I was just driving through Carlsbad last weekend for an open house, and it made me think of you guys. So I'm giving you just a quick call to see where you're at in the home buying process. If there's anything I can do to add value to you right now. Hey, Star, I was just looking through homes, on the MLS. One of them really caught my eye. 5-bedroom, over in Menifee. But it made me think of you, and I was just wondering, are we still on track to go look at homes this coming weekend? Okay, whatever it is, but just get in there. I thought it's just a rant, it's just an excuse that you're making. Okay, and people just like the fact that there was any reason that there was something that made you think of that. Okay, the next one we're gonna write down is I was reviewing our notes. The way that I personally say this one is, hey, Holly, I was looking over my notes from our last conversation. Hey, Jesse, this is Zach. Really quick, I was looking over our notes, for my notes from our last conversation, and one of the big pain points I noticed that you mentioned was monthly payment. I just got off a meeting, with our in-house lender Scott, and he showed us some new first-time home buyer programs. Was saying how he actually has a way of getting our clients a lower monthly payment and making it much more affordable. So I'm not sure if this is for you, but I was gonna see if it'd be appropriate for me to maybe just throw you guys in a three-way text, and see if you could lower your monthly payment. Okay, but you can pull anything out of there. Hey, Holly, I was reviewing my notes from our last conversation, and I noticed, that ocean view is just such a priority to you. And I know you guys already have your other homes, so it's not like you need to buy tomorrow. But I was wondering if I was able to find, an ocean view home, $3 million, Carlsbad that matched all your criteria. I mean, would you be willing to come out and see it with me, like in person? Yes. Okay. Well, cool. I actually have one, right now that I just found. I'm going to text it to you. Let's set up a time for this Saturday. What's better, the morning or the afternoon? Okay, but you need to be highlighting and creating these next steps, and that's what these intros, okay, and these talking tracks, okay, is what they call them, is essentially just these different intros. Okay. The last one that you're gonna write is where should we go from here? I've covered this one with a few of you guys. I like this one a lot. So I'll say, hey, Holly, based on our last conversation, I'm lacking a little bit of clarity on my end on how to best support you. You mentioned that you really wanted to be in a new home in Carlsbad, but that you don't need to buy and that you don't want to get approved until we find the right home. So I was just wondering, where should we go from here? For these people that are just throwing everything out. They're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, Steve, just go send me homes and I'll let you know when I see one I like. Okay, so I'm like, hey, Abraham, last we spoke, you mentioned that just to send you over homes. I typed in your criteria. They've been going to your email every month. I don't know, I haven't seen much response, if they're what you're looking for, or, if you want to see any, if any have been catching your eye. So I was just wondering where should we go from here? Okay, and it just gets them just to say something. A lot of times it'd be, oh, well, sorry, we've just been so busy. Okay, a lot of times it's also just saying, like, what's the most appropriate next step, for me to take from here? That's all along the same lines. Like, hey, no, Star, yeah, I'm 6 months out, from buying. Awesome. What do you think the most appropriate steps are for me to take from here, to best support you? Like, I don't know, you can call in 30 days. I'm like, perfect. Okay, so it's that same thing. They're like, hey, Bram, yeah, I think we're gonna put everything on pause. Okay, it's like awesome. So where should we go from here? Okay, and just trying to get some sort of highlight on next steps. Okay, so we've written down some talking tracks. Okay, we've already covered the magic questions a lot. Okay, so I'm just gonna scan over them here. Okay, but a lot of us have heard these in morning role play. How would you feel if, okay, so hey, Holly, how would you feel if I was able to sell your home for top dollar? You'd feel great. Help me understand. What do you already know about the selling process? Okay, wow, that's exciting. What's your experience selling a home? Okay, how important is it to you that you get top dollar? Okay, got it. How certain are you that this is when you should sell? Okay, when was the last time somebody gave you an updated value? Could it be possible that it's actually worth more? Would it help if I was able to put together a step-by-step plan? Okay, that showed you exactly how we're going to get top dollar for your home. Just out of curiosity, where are you guys going to go after the sale? hey, Holly, if I was able to put together a plan that helped you with the purchase and the sale of your home, then would you be open to using me for both? Amazing. Just imagine it's a smooth, seamless transaction where you could sell this home, get top dollar, move into your next home at the lowest price possible. Are you open-minded to meeting me for 15 minutes this weekend so I can show you exactly how we would do that? Okay, you guys can rearrange these a million different ways and use them a million different questions, okay, for them. And once again, I'm going to give Rudy a shout out. Okay, you guys, he just came out of fam camp. He's got 4 buyer discoveries today. And I said, Rudy, I went, what are you doing? What are you getting so many buyer discoveries? You have 4 just today. He's been out of fam camp for like a month. And he goes, I don't know. He goes, I've just been every time I get someone on the phone, he goes, I've just been trying to ask them the magic questions. And he goes, it just puts them kind of down this rabbit hole, and they get talking. And he goes, then it's pretty easy just to say, well, because you said that, do you want to talk for 15 minutes this Saturday? And I can show you how we're going to help you do that. And they're like, yeah, sure. Okay, so simply just knowing these questions and going in with these questions, you guys, rule of 5, okay, is what I like to go with, 5 of these questions. But if you can use one of these talking tracks and then just jump into about 5 of these questions, okay, then we already know the next 2 steps. I'm going to align with them. So maybe Holly, we got through and I said, hey, Holly, based upon our last conversation, you mentioned to me that timing, was crucial. Now that it's been about 90 days, I was wondering if I could grab an update. What do you think is a more appropriate timeline, for you guys to pick up your home search? They're like, oh, I don't know. We're probably at least still 6 months out. I go, oh, okay, got it. Help me understand. Where is this timeline coming from? What's happening in 6 months, that causes the purchase. That I just want to make sure I'm supporting you properly. Oh, because that's when the market's going to change and rates are going to be lower and it's easier to buy a house. Got it. How certain are you, Holly, that it's actually going to be that way in 6 months? Okay, I get that. When was the last time you checked your buying power to see what the monthly payment was on $1 million home? Okay, well, Holly, let's do this. Okay, I totally understand where you're coming from. Okay, a lot of buyers that are in your same situation are telling me the same thing, but what they are finding a lot of benefit from is knowing at least exactly what their payment would be. Because right now it's essentially guessing. So what I'd like to do is let's set up a 15-minute call for maybe this Friday. I'm going to bring on my in-house lender, Scott. Okay, what he's going to do is give you all the options for monthly payments. Then at least over the next 6 months, you know exactly what your payment would be on these homes. Would that be appropriate to do that this Friday? Okay, but it's just your talking track, your magic question. We align. Okay, we need to agree on something. Okay, so align and complement. Okay, or it can be one or the other, and then commitment, some sort of commitment. Okay, based upon what they said. But the days of calling and asking if they're getting your property alerts or calling and just saying what's changed, they go, well, Holly, we haven't really decided yet what's changed. You go, okay, well, sounds good. I'll talk to you in 90 days. Okay, those are done because it's just a stagnant pipeline. Okay, and a stagnant pipeline is your worst case scenario in this industry. It causes burnout. You get tired of calling the same people. You lose motivation a little bit. Seeing the same names every single month telling you the exact same thing. Okay, so it's not up to the lead to change what they're saying. It's up to you to change what you're saying to the lead. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So let's go ahead and just practice this. Okay, a little bit. You wrote down some talking tracks. You wrote down some magic questions. That technically means you should be able to go all the way through. Okay, one of these conversations without these in front of you. Yeah? We have everything there in front of us that we'll need besides besides the magic questions. We didn't write down the magic questions. Okay, but from role play, a lot of you guys are in the morning role plays a lot. Okay, a lot of you guys know these. I'm going to put the link in the Zoom chat. Okay, there's the list of magic questions for you guys. Okay, what I want to do is role play one of these. And then we're going to take 30 minutes of today. Okay, and you're going to go implement by actually just following up. I know, but all of us got people in our pipeline that can use a call today. All of us have some nurtures or some not yets that we could get some answers from, that we need some more clarity from. I'd say looking through them and looking through notes, an average agent's pipeline right now is about 70% of the people in nurture. We could probably use a more clear idea, where they're actually at, or give them a better idea on what the next step is. Okay, so even if you have someone you just talked to last month and they're like, Holly, we're 4 months out, but you have no reason why they're 4 months out. They just keep on telling you that, calling them today and getting some more clarity on it. Hey, Holly, I was looking at my notes from our last conversation and you mentioned you're about 4 months away. I know it's only been 30 days, but I just wanted to get some more clarity. What's causing the 4 month, timeline? I just wanted to make sure I was supporting you properly. They're like, oh, well, Holly, that's actually when our kid graduates, from college. So we're gonna, she'll move out, we're gonna all move out, you're all great. You go, oh, that makes so much sense. Okay, where are you guys planning on moving? Boom, boom, boom. You go through it a little bit. We align. Well, Holly, I totally understand. A lot of my clients that are, of course, have a timeline like that, waiting for someone to move. 4 months makes sense. A lot of them though like to have a plan in place prior, okay, to that all happening. So if you'd be open to it, I'd love to take about 15 minutes with you this Saturday, sit down, just put together a simple plan. That way, when your daughter does graduate, you're not scrambling to figure out what the next steps are. This will provide a lot of clarity and make it really simple for you when the time does come. Do you have 15 minutes for me this Saturday? But now you have total clarity over what the next steps are, and you're still deciding what the next steps are. Maybe you book it 30 days out. Okay, maybe it's not for this Saturday. Okay, because they're not buying a house for a little bit. But we need that clarity on, why are you 6 months out? Why are you 3 months out? Why are you 1 month out? We want to know all those little things. Okay.